Welcome to the Workforce Connections podcast, where we discuss workforce development in Southern Nevada. Here's your host.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the WC podcast. Today, we have two very special guests. We've been waiting for weeks for this one. They both have very difficult schedules, but here they are. We're very happy to have them here. Please, I welcome Tom Burns, Executive Director of Nevada's Governor's Office of Economic Development, GOED, and Dr. Dorian Stonebarger, the Deputy Director of GOED. We're excited to have you both here today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us, Amy.
So we're going to talk about a lot of things today, all economic development. So to start, Tom, for those listeners who might not be familiar with GOED, Please tell us about the agency, its mission, and how it helps shape Nevada's economic development strategy.
Sure. We were founded in the legislature about 15 years ago to become part of the governor's office. And our goal is to help diversify the economy of the state of Nevada. So we all know that we're blessed to have a fabulous hospitality economy here in the state of Nevada. We're also blessed with a lot of minerals in our state. And so we've been heavily dependent on those economies for a long time. And that's great until they're not doing well. And then we tend to suffer as a state. So our job is to bring other job opportunities in for Nevadans into our state, as well as help diversify the economic balance of our state so that when things ebb and flow and hospitality isn't as good as it was a year ago, or maybe not as good as what's going to be next year, that we still have money in the coffers to support the services that we need to provide to Nevadans.
Thank you for that, Tom. Dorian, anything to add?
Just highlighting the jobs piece of that, of welcoming the new opportunities for individuals. Our job is actually jobs, and those jobs come from businesses, and that's where you see the business support aspect.
And we're going to talk about this a little bit later as well. But in June's issue of Nevada Business Magazine, there's a 16-page GOED article that goes into critical minerals and some of the opportunities we'll be discussing today. So if you want to know more, definitely go to Nevada Business Magazine to learn more about GOED. Dorian, the next question, I'll start with you. Economic development is truly a team effort. So how does GOED work with organizations like the LVGA here in Southern Nevada and others in Northern Nevada, local governments, educational institutions, and private sector partners to execute this economic development strategy that Tom mentioned?
Sure. So as a state agency, our job is to look at the state as a whole and to identify the strengths and opportunities that we have, as well as where we need to mitigate some of our weaknesses and threats. And so you can imagine that there's different nuances, even from Southern Nevada to Northern Nevada, and definitely in the rural areas. And all of those nuances require a particular amount of care and someone closer to those issues and to those nuances. And so we have 8 regional development authorities across the state, one of them being the LVGEA here for Southern Nevada, that really is, I'll use the term boots on the ground, to identify where the additional strengths and opportunities are for each region. And that's how we support them. They also support then in turn the local jurisdictions, but there's not a disconnect there. There's also the ability for our office to, of course, refer a company to the local jurisdiction if they have planning questions. We work with the local utilities to help navigate some of the other permitting and licensing requirements that there will be. And we also work with universities to identify the research and innovation opportunities available in the state.
Tom, anything to add to that?
Dorian did a great job of highlighting the fact that this is a true partnership, right? And we do have 3 distinct cultures within our state between Northern Nevada, our friends in rural Nevada, and of course, Southern Nevada. And so being able to highlight our opportunities and amplify them through our partners is a great resource.
And Tom, you and I sit together on the board of the LVGEA. I still remember the call when you were appointed by the governor to this post, and it seems like time has just flown by. But looking back over the last, the time you've been there at GOED, what are some of the accomplishments or big wins, quote unquote, big wins that you're most proud of, and what makes those wins significant to our state?
Sure. So we've had some great opportunities within our state, and I think we've really identified over the last couple of years what our strengths are within our state and our ability to move forward and be able to take advantage of our unfair advantages. My folks that work with me hear me say that a lot. And so we have identified what our target areas are. We have really made hard pushes towards that, partnering with our RDAs and giving them the resources and the ability to do that. So we're excited about all the things coming up. We've added a lot of jobs, more than any Nevada's added more jobs in the last 4 years than any other state in the country. And so we're proud of what that means for Nevadans and where we're headed.
I know that many guests, Tom, that come to the podcast, the name always comes up, and there's many examples, but Haas is a big example.
Sure.
You know, people drive by that road all the time and see that 2.5 million foot factory just going up quickly.
Sure.
Is Haas one of those big wins that you would say for us as a state?
Absolutely. So that's, and the great story about Haas is it's going to be almost 3,000 jobs, but besides 3,000, it's 3,000 jobs for existing Nevadans. So our job isn't to have people move to Nevada. People are moving to Nevada without our help. Our job is to make sure there are great jobs for Nevadans that are here. So we have the Deborah March Center of Excellence that's right next to Haas Automotive that will train those folks in workforce development to get them ready for the skills that are necessary to be able to make a great living at Haas Automotive. We have a very similar conversation that's going on at Panasonic Tesla in Northern Nevada. You know, they're adding 3,500 jobs this year. Same training mechanism, different space. Obviously, it's up in Reno. But those kind of partnerships are great conversations for our state.
And I think, Dorian, one of the things that both Tesla, Panasonic, and even Haas Automation here in Southern Nevada is not just them, it's also their supply chain, right? So they bring other smaller manufacturers along with them. Is that something that you find valuable?
Oh, absolutely. And we've been working to enhance the opportunities there to ensure that we are securing the full supply chain for the existing businesses, but bringing those new opportunities.
And so looking ahead, Dorian, if, in the north, again, building that supply chain for Tesla and Panasonic and all those other residents of that industrial area. But here, what are some of the GOED's top priorities to support the work that's already been done? And I know we can't say names or whatnot, but what are some of the top priorities moving forward?
Sure. Well, some of our future also relies on our past. And I know we're going to talk about the article, but I need to bring up here our assets and our opportunities within the critical mineral space. So we are a mining state. That is part of our legacy, but it's very much alive and well. We have over 30,000 individuals currently employed in the mining space right now, and having 36 out of 60 critical minerals that are available and on the Department of Industry's list as critical. Those critical materials go into the electronics that we're using today. To speak to your listeners, it is used in batteries, so energy generation and storage. And if we couple that with also our assets in solar generation and geothermal generation, that storage capacity then is profound, right? So we are looking to enhance that. And going back to your point about the supply chain, what we're working on is creating the opportunities that had created the supply chain leaving Nevada and leaving the United States. And there's a big effort federally and locally to reshore some of the manufacturing, to reshore some of the processing in critical minerals. That's where the bottleneck currently is within the United States, to take advantage of truly what that opportunity holds.
Tom, let's dive down a little bit more to this.
Sure.
Because, and like Dorian said, in June, there was a huge 16-page article about a new era of mining in Nevada. And when I go to the Sunshine Minting Factory in Henderson, I know Tom Power is also a member of the LVGA and a member of the Workforce Connections Board. You see the final product of the mineral being put into this coin, this beautiful piece of, mint. But before that, there's, so much going on. I've heard you refer to the lithium loop and the process of extraction and, processing and then recycling of the mineral. Yeah. Tell us about why that's so important to our
Sure.
state.
So, and we're going to talk about that as it relates to minerals, critical minerals in totality. So what we want to do is, look, if we can mine the mineral here and then we process it here. Right now, almost all the minerals that are mined in the United States are really processed in China. And so what we do is we dig them out of the ground here and we send them off to China and hope they come back. And in my opinion, that's a great strategy. So one of the exciting things going on at both the Ioneer project and the Lithium America project up in Northern Nevada is that they will be able to process that lithium on site. And so we'll be able to commercially use it once it comes off that site. That's a really exciting thing for our state, actually, and for our country. And so we know that if we can get those minerals ready for commercial use within our state, we'll attract the manufacturing that's going to be a part of that. And so we have the getting it out of the ground, the processing, the manufacturing, and then also in Nevada through Redwood Materials and Dragonfly, a couple other companies, we have the ability to recycle those minerals as that asset has become to its useful life. So in many cases, the minerals themselves are just fine. It's just that the useful life of that battery, for whatever reason, may have run short. But there's still plenty of mining to be done within that battery. And so we can repurpose those minerals and push them back out without ever having to disturb the earth.
So critical minerals, I hear you loud and clear, a huge priority for us for all the reasons you explained. Is there other industries that are going to be that important, like critical minerals for us, and GOED's priorities moving forward?
Absolutely. So your advanced manufacturing has been an area that we've really succeeded a lot in the last 15 years. So you'll see a continued emphasis in that. We're also uniquely positioned to help on a national defense basis. And so, 85% of our state is owned by the federal government. Sometimes that's not always great. In this case, we're going to try to make it an asset. And so there's a lot of times for unmanned aeronautic drones, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So for them to do testing and be manufactured here in the state of Nevada, there are also other national defense assets that can be manufactured and tested here. And so we're making a huge push in that space. And we spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C. talking about both national defense assets as well as the critical minerals.
And we'll be in Washington, D.C. with the chamber here.
We will.
Sooner than we expect. Dorian, anything to add there about critical opportunities besides, minerals and advanced manufacturing? Anything you see there in the picture?
Sure. Well, although they can operate separately, I do want to point out that the critical mineral space and the advanced manufacturing and the defense space are actually all related together. They don't have to be separated. They can operate in silos, but all of those critical minerals are also used in that space. And so that's, again, why we really are focusing on that as an asset, because it is a natural resource that we are currently mining above any other state. And again, why we just keep talking about critical minerals. But if we do want to decouple it, there still is a lot of attraction, as Tom mentioned, in the defense manufacturing space because of our ability to test the wide range to test aerospace and defense systems, as well as semiconductors. That has been a big draw over the last few years. And again, that goes into chips manufacturing, which isn't necessarily a good opportunity for our state because of the water use, but all of the component parts that go into semiconductors are. And we're really seeing that as a tech space in Northern Nevada that they're taking great opportunity in. And advanced manufacturing. Yeah.
Very good. I know that Arizona has gone bonkers on that chip manufacturing, right? And they're in the desert too, which is interesting with the rumors.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about opportunities, Tom, and how GOED and those regional agencies like LVGA, of course, want to leverage why businesses want to come here, the climate, the economic stability, the business-friendly tax structure, all those things. I'll start with you, Dorian. What challenges must our state continue addressing in order to continue to attract these types of employers and these new jobs? What are the specific challenges that you think are ahead of us?
You just mentioned one of them, which is water. And some of that is perception. Some of that is reality. And so that is something that we often face with companies when they're looking to move here, is really understanding what is the outlook on water and where we're headed with that and what that means for the company long term. Energy is another one. That is something that is growing. We're not the only state that is having a challenge meeting the energy needs for a number of different industries. So that is something that we run into. But less so, something that is decreasing is our workforce challenges. And that's, I know we'll get into that in a minute, but thanks to partners like you, that's something that we are solving for.
Tom, I know we talk about it all the time at LVGA, the dichotomy of we want to grow, but there is the largest generation in history, the baby boom generation of, we're retiring soon, all of us. There's less immigration than ever. There is less babies being made than ever. And so there's all this perfect storm. But the K through 12 pipeline, the education pipeline is important to economic growth. Also, we also hear about healthcare a lot. But what other components do you think are challenges that we must address to continue to be in this situation we are now? Dorian
brought up the water issue, and I don't want to touch on that for just a second. There was in in the paper just the other day, there was some news out of Washington, D.C. about allocations, proposed allocations. And I want to emphasize that's where it's at. So that's a drafted agreement. And so I know I talked to our friends at SNWA who do amazing work, and they're still working hard to get Nevada a bigger piece of that pie. But we are still in a spot, even if that were to go through, that we have enough water to sustain. We can still flush toilets and do the things that we need to do to exist as a community, as well as grow responsibly. And so that's an important part of what we do, is knowing who you are and knowing what assets you have and taking the appropriate care of those assets. We talked about land a little bit earlier. 85% of the state being owned by the federal government is 30 to 35% more than any other state. And so that presents some daunting challenges. We talk about affordable housing an awful lot. With a lack of land, it drives up the price of land. And when you don't have affordable land, you're not going to have affordable homes. And so that presents those challenges. And then where do our workers live, right? Because we want them to have a certain way of life. And so that's something constantly that the governor and his administration has been working on with the BLM and putting forward legislation on affordable housing. So that continues to be a conversation that we need to manage.
So, Tom, without giving any names again, because we understand that in economic development, projects must remain confidential when they're under negotiations, but without revealing any specific companies, can you describe the types of opportunities, the types of industries that we are, again, looking at to either bring here or grow here in Nevada?
Yeah, so the efforts that we have put forth in the last 3.5 years, but really hard in the last 2 years, are starting to show fruit. So we're seeing interest in the national defense space. We're seeing a lot of movement in the processing of minerals. And once we get the processing of minerals, we'll see the manufacturing come. And so we're seeing really some exciting things move down the road and move ahead. Even as close as yesterday, we had a great announcement of somebody that's looking forward to move forward in Nevada with their project. So those are the things that we're really seeing move forward, and we're excited.
That's great. Now, I was hoping to hear you say there's an NBA franchise coming soon.
I've heard that rumor too. Yeah.
Dorian, what about you? Any things you're looking forward to as the pipeline of GOED? Any special projects, again, without specific names, industries that you're looking for coming here to the state?
I'm going to mention one that is lesser known that we are also tied to, but one that you are very familiar with, which is Campus for Hope. So GOED is the matching agency for the Homeless Services account. And now that has a name and a wonderful leadership and is a true project, we are looking forward to Campus for Hope coming to fruition. That is a huge development, although not necessarily in the pipeline that you would think that we would normally talk about. We're incredibly proud to be associated with it. It's
going to be a great program for our valley. I was a little remiss too, and Dorian's right. That's an incredibly important project for Southern Nevada and our state, and will show us to be a leader in that space. We're doing a lot of work in the biomedical space as well. There's great opportunity at Roseman University and with the 3 medical universities in Southern Nevada, as well as the University of Nevada up in Reno. We've seen opportunities in that space grow too, so we're excited about those opportunities.
And I remember that call too, Tom. I can't remember how long ago, but I remember you calling me about, hey, there's this big project. The Strip's going to put in money. We're going to put in money. We're bringing, Kim from San Antonio, Eric from Wynn. I remember you set us up a long time ago, and it was just announced that we were going to be a partner on the site. So thanks for thinking of us and including us in all of that collaboration.
Congratulations.
And so, Dorian, the next question is for you. Workforce availability is one of the most important considerations that companies make when evaluating somewhere they're going to relocate to or grow. And from GOED's perspective, you mentioned it earlier, working with partners like us and Dieter and Nevada Works in the north. But what are some of the strengths, if you will, that I know we have our weaknesses too, or opportunities to get better. But what are some of the strengths when it comes to workforce that GOED can actually use when talking to these companies?
Sure. And what I mentioned earlier is that the concern is lessening of being able to meet the workforce need for the different industries that are being attracted to Nevada. And that is a strength because we've met the moment, right? We are able to pivot very quickly. We are a nimble state and able to create programs that are necessary in order for individuals to be able to access those jobs that we're attracting. And that is a huge asset. That is a huge strength of ours. And that is because of the workforce ecosystem that we have, that we understand that we need to pivot at times and create new programs.
And you make an investment in those partners too, because with the WIN Fund, Workforce Innovation for a New Nevada.
Yep.
You take those funds and actually have a community college or university or any other workforce partners customize the training that those employers need. So you're actually making an investment in it. Tom, what do you think are some of, again, the strengths of our workforce? A lot of people say that in Nevada, we're really good at customer service because of the hospitality spirit we have here. So for you, what are other strengths that we might have? And also maybe some opportunities. Where can we get better?
Sure. So, Dorian highlighted, and we spoke a little bit earlier about the opportunities we've had as big, large customers have come to our state. So when Tesla first moved to Nevada, they said, nobody knows how to make our widget, right? And they were right. We had no advanced manufacturing skills in the state of Nevada. And so we quickly reacted and were able to put together programs through TMCC and Western Nevada Community College in partnership with Tesla and Panasonic and GOED, and stand up the training programs. There are 15,000 people that are employed there now. And some of them, or most of them, all went through that training program. There's another 15,000 jobs out at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center that also were a result of that advanced manufacturing program. We were obviously able to pick that up and move it down here and plug it in at the Deborah March Center of Excellence, where we'll be working in conjunction with Haas. We've done the same thing in rural Nevada, where they've needed some help in safety as it relates to mining and what goes on in mining areas, as safety, as well as diesel mechanics in the diesel industry. All those things are important. They create great jobs for Nevadans. So what we've really done is taking folks that are making, $14 and $15 and $16 an hour, and those are hardworking people. So I have a lot of respect for what they're doing, and they're doing their best they can to take care of their family and move them along. We're giving them skills to elevate their financial position in life, their economic position, and get them up to jobs that are $40 and $50 and $55. The average wage at Tesla Panasonic is $105,000 a year. Mm-hmm. So that's life-changing money for a lot of folks. And we're glad that's what we do best. And that's what really I think that's our why. Why do we get up in the morning? That's it, right? Yeah. For that story right there.
That's well said, Tom. And I think this, Superintendent Joe Niebuhr is on the Workforce Connections Board. Mm-hmm. And more than ever, we know that what they're producing in Clark County School District has to match the needs of these industries that you're describing. And so for the past 4 years now in Nevada, we have stood up 12 regional industry sector partnerships, 5 in the north, 7 here, that convene employers from these industries, advanced manufacturing. And we're trying to make sure that information is shaping the 25,000 students every year being pumped out of that K through 12 system. And so it's a work in progress, but sure. I think it's better than ever. Here at Workforce Connections, this is our last year's highlight thing. And we believe that workforce development is economic development.
I agree. Yep.
And I know you agree. And so tell us, I'll start with you, Tom, this time. How can this ecosystem of your partners, again, starts with the state partner, DEETR, the 2 local boards, Nevada Workforce Connections, the NSHE institutions, all of them. How can we, and there's also the apprenticeships, the military, the vocational training, yep. all of it. How can we get better at supporting GOED's mission of recruiting these companies to Nevada?
Sure. So I think one of the things you outlined right there, Jaime, is kind of a paradigm shift around what education means. Right? Education, post-secondary, post-high school education doesn't mean college for everybody. And I think for a while we fell into that trap. And it's fine for some. It served me well, right? And it serves others well, but it doesn't mean it's for everybody. And the fact that we have come to grips with and fully realize and embracing the fact that there are great jobs to be had with people that are getting taught skills, right? So whether that's the skills that are to become an electrician or a plumber or anything in the construction area, or being taught the skills of advanced manufacturing and how those bring forward. Supporting that thought process, really, one, it realizes what we have. It's It's a realization of what was necessary for the future. It also creates greater dignity for those folks that have those jobs. Those jobs have always been jobs of dignity, people that supported our community, people that did honest, hard work, took care of their families. They were always that. I think we've come to realize that and come to embrace that more than we have in the past. So I'm really happy with that change.
Well said. Dorian, anything to add there? How can we, as your ecosystem partners, better support your strategies?
Sure. I'm going to share something just a little personal to feed off of what Tom said, because I am someone who went to trade school after high school, and you introduced me as Dr. Dorian Stonebarger. So there are different pathways for everyone. And I took that path for sure. And I think we both work very hard to ensure that there's access in all platforms. I think that those industry led partnerships, those industry roundtables, those are extremely important. And they're really letting us know what we need to do and how we create that access for the individual to get the job later, which isn't just the technical skills. Sometimes it's the soft skills, and those are the things that we're identifying. I think that the work that everyone is doing and that shift that Tom had mentioned is really supporting that that increase in confidence that we are able to have the talent here that is necessary to attract the jobs. So we're doing it, and I think we just need to continue to communicate and see how everyone can enhance each other's roles.
Can you give us a little glimpse on why we introduced you as doctor? So where did that come from? And then what was that?
Kind of a long story. I don't know if you have that. You have the reel for that. All right.
What trade? And then, the doctor.
Sure. So right after high school, I became an esthetician, and I did skincare for 10 years. While I was doing that, I worked 4/10. So I had 3 days off, and I was either going to spend money or I was going to go to school. So I went to CSN, which was CCSN at that time. And I went to so many classes that I ended up with 2 associate's degrees. And I thought to myself, well, I probably could have done a bachelor's by this point. So I did. I then went to UNLV, got a bachelor's in science and nutrition, which, again, I thought would just enhance the role in skincare, but it instead led me to 3 Square Food Bank. And at 3 Square is where I really met Southern Nevada. And obviously, I grew up here, but serving the community, as you know, it gives you a different perspective. And we served Clark, Lincoln, 9, Esmeralda. And so you can imagine that with Lincoln, 9, Esmeralda, there's differences, and of course, differences from Clark. But within our valley, there is not only a difference in need, but also the nuance on how you provide the services in order for someone to access the programs, the services that you're offering, because availability does not equal access. And I think that's something that we're getting a lot better at in Nevada as well, creating, yes, a program, but different avenues to get there. And that goes back to the school and education portion. So it was at that time that I met Councilman Brian Knutson. And he wasn't a councilman at the time, but he became one and recruited me to the city of Las Vegas. And I was able to work on some more intractable issues in our valley, which was healthcare, housing, and transportation. And that was also during the pandemic. And so I went back to school again, because apparently I can't have idle time. And that's when I got my doctorate in public policy and met Dr. Chris Sanchez, who was at GOED at the time and is now the director of B&I, that recruited me over to GOED.
Very cool.
That's the full version.
What a great story. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
You can cut that.
No. I love it. That's really good. It really displays, as you said, there is no single formula that works for everybody.
Right.
Your formula was very different and a very good one. Again, I mentioned that we try very hard. I was very pleased, Tom, when I heard Danielle and Lori share with me that they're talking to Joan Eber about making sure that her connection to the LVGA is a strong one, because again, she has that 20 to 25,000 pipeline of graduates every year. And we got to make sure that they are graduating ready for what Nevada has for them. And so, is there any other partners, Tom, and then I'll come back to Dorian, that you hope will step up or move towards the direction of partnering better with GOED and the partners of the ecosystem, again, to make sure that we're successful at growing companies here in Nevada, but also continuing to recruit the right ones that consume, that they're not high consumers of water or electricity, or, need a lot of space, as you said. Is there any other partners that are missing that you want to say, we need you to come in and help?
I think one of the things you're going to see amplified in the next 6 months or so are stories of success from companies that are here, right? And so to have our industry partners that are here, that have experienced success because of the environment that they work in, because of a pro-business environment that they work in, the success that they've had in working. It's not easy working with government all the time, but I think that we do a pretty good job of being malleable, and people have seen where we've been helpful in us. So seeing those conversations from private industry, because people believe their peers, right? Mm-hmm. And so if people from private industries can say, we've had a great experience in Nevada. I had a great experience in Clark County. I grew like heck in Washoe County. I've had all those things. Then that gets out to people, and just people are looking to move and pick up to move, because that's a very serious thing when you move your company. It's a generational conversation. And so when you choose to relocate your company, you want to go someplace you know is going to be welcoming. It's going to be comfortable. You got a chance for success. And having those stories told, I think, is a big part of where we're going to see success in the future.
Great. Dorian, how about you? Anything that you think it's missing that you want to make a call for here in our ecosystem to support this strategy that you share with us today?
I wouldn't say missing. I think we need to do a better job with our elected leaders across the board of that understanding of how we're all connected and what that means for the individuals and for their constituents, and how we are working together for the betterment of the Valley. I think that there's sometimes we look at things in the silos and in categories, but it's all related. Our work is needed to support each other.
Good. Well, as we end our podcast, I'm grateful that you made the time to come here and talk about this and highlight again the importance of aligning our economic development efforts to our workforce development efforts. And I would give the mic to each one of you one more time. I'll start with you, Dorian, and we'll end with Tom. The mission of GOED, again, to bring jobs to our state, good jobs. Leave us with one last thought again about why, like Tom said earlier, the why you do what you do. What excites you about, your job?
Well, I'm going to go back to the story of access. It's very important for me that every individual in Nevada has access to the opportunities, and our job is jobs, and I'm just drawn to that.
Yeah, to see, I illustrated the financial jump that families can take earlier, right? And and the money means something. So, I mean, it changes how they live and what they worry about or what they don't have to worry about, more importantly. But the other thing is it changes expectations about where they want to be. It changes what their family's expectations over themselves. So if we can do that once, we change the family and we change a couple generations about where they want to be, where they're going to end up. If we can do that a couple more times, we can do it 15,000 times like we did it at Tesla Panasonic, and 3,000 times like we're going to do at Oz. You change a community, right? And we all live in a better place. So that's it. That's why I get out of bed in the morning.
Well said, Tom. Well, thank you again, both of you, for being here today. As you know, we will continue to see each other at GOED meetings, LBGA meetings, and you can count on Workforce Connections. As I know, you can also count on Nevada Works and Dieter to be your partners in the workforce development world and support the great work that you're doing for our state. So Dorian, Tom, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks so much for your support.
Yeah. Well, that's it for another episode of the WC Podcast. We want to thank all the people behind the scenes that make this happen, and we want to see you at the next episode. And so until then, stay safe. All right. Well, Dorian and Tom, thank you for staying over for our bonus segment called In the Hot Seat. Are you ready?
This is the hard part, isn't it?
This is the hard part.
All right.
The first segment is called True or False. You have your paddles there. Let me see if they both have true or false on them. We're ready to go. So I'm going to give you a series of statements, and you're going to tell me whether that's true or false. The first one is an easy one. It says, GOED is the state-level economic development organization for Nevada. True. Second one, GOED helps companies relocate and grow in Nevada. Also true. GOED collaborates with regional economic development agencies, counties, and cities. True. GOED is only located in the state capital, Carson City. False. GOED has offices in Southern Nevada. That is true. GOED administers the WIN Fund. WIN is an acronym for Workforce Innovations for a New Nevada. The WIN Fund focuses only on low-wage jobs under $17 an hour. False. The Nevada system of higher education and the community colleges are an important WIN partner. Very good. Workforce development is economic development. And the last question, Tom and Dorian have both been featured on the cover of Nevada Business Magazine. Wow.
There we go.
You guys, perfect score.
There we go.
Really, really good. Awesome.
We're studied ahead of time.
Yes, we're going to move to the next segment called Finish the Sentence. So, Tom, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Tom, your favorite thing about working at GOED is?
The measurable outcomes to Nevada citizens.
Dorian, your favorite thing about working at GOED is?
In this moment, I have to say the people I work with.
All right. And let's dive deeper. Dorian, the people that work at GOED with you are?
Amazing. Okay.
That's good. Amazing is good.
Do you need me to list them?
No. I love the verb. They're amazing. So
Intelligent,
there
inspiring.
You go. Wow, big list. Tom, the people that work at GOED are?
Remarkably passionate.
Awesome. Tom, the plane ride from Las Vegas to Reno is?
55 minutes.
Dorian, the plane ride from Las Vegas to Reno is?
48 minutes.
Sometimes bumpy, I heard.
Yeah.
So Dorian, the plane ride back from Reno to Las Vegas is?
Definitely bumpy.
Tom, the plane ride from Reno to Las Vegas is?
Delayed.
Yes, very good. Wow, good one. Tom, during my time at GOED, I will make sure that?
The citizens of Nevada are better off than when I showed up.
Dorian, during your time at GOED, you will make sure that?
I make a measurable impact.
And Dorian, 3 words that describe Tom Burns are?
Funny. Smart. Kind.
Very good. Couldn't agree more. Tom, 3 words that describe Dorian are?
Intelligent, thoughtful, and passionate.
Very good, Tom. And Tom, recording the WC podcast here with us today was?
Outstanding.
Dorian, recording the podcast here with us today was?
Delightful.
Well, thank you guys for staying over, doing In the Hot Seat.